Hey guys, welcome back to another very interesting video of VK. Today's video is about Bitcoin. What exactly is Bitcoin? What is the rate of Bitcoin and how we can use Bitcoin and many other things I will be explaining you guys in the most basic terms. If I talk with you guys in the complex terms or in hi-fi technical terms, maybe people in our age group or students or any young youth may understand. But for people who are in the age of our parents or our grandparents will not understand what I'm talking about. So in this video, I'll be explaining you guys as easy as possible about what exactly is Bitcoin and everything else you want to know about Bitcoin. So let's get started. So guys, Bitcoin, whenever we hear this term Bitcoin, we'll be thinking that it is something like a coin or it is like a physical currency. You guys might have seen the photos of Bitcoin. It has this symbol like a B and two antennas above the B and below the B. You people will be thinking that this Bitcoin will be available somewhere in some bank near me. I have to go and purchase it. No, Bitcoin is actually electronic currency or electronic money. First thing I will explain you. See, we have 10 rupee notes, we have 100 rupee notes, and 200 rupee notes, and 2000 rupee notes, and several other different types of cash notes in India, right? This is a currency of India. Similarly, if we talk about US or several other countries, they will be having their own type of cash or their own type of currencies. For example, as dollar or pound or euro, etc. So these things are currencies of that particular country. Right, these things can be seen in physical form, like you can see that coin, you can see that 1 rupee coin, you can physically hold that 100 rupee note in your hand. But Bitcoin is always stored in computers. You will be thinking how Bitcoin is stored in computers, whether it is a photo or whether it is a video that will be stored in my computers. No, Bitcoin has something called Bitcoin wallet, which will be stored actually on the internet all the time. You can see the amount of Bitcoins in your Bitcoin wallet. For example, if you have a Bitcoin wallet, your Bitcoin wallet balance will be something like 0.5 BTC, 0.5 BTC. That means you have 0.5 Bitcoins. This is how Bitcoins will be stored. Bitcoins cannot be seen in physical forms. That is why it is known as virtual currency and not physical currency. You cannot go to any ATM and put your PIN and withdraw that the golden color coins that you have seen on internet. No, these things cannot happen. So Bitcoin is not a physical currency. The next thing is, who started this Bitcoin thing? Somewhere around in 2009, a journal or a paper was published on the internet, and the person who published this paper was named Satoshi Nakamoto. He's actually the first person who talked about Bitcoin in public. It was somewhere in 2009 where he published this article that peer-to-peer crypto transactions or peer-to-peer cryptocurrencies can be used, and it is called Bitcoin. Okay, so we can say that he was the initial author of Bitcoins and he's not the inventor of Bitcoins. And the identity of this guy Satoshi Nakamoto is still unknown. It is a mystery to everyone in the world. Some other theories also suggests Satoshi Nakamoto is not a person. It is a group of companies like Samsung, Toshiba, Nakamine and Motorola. This was some other theory that I have read somewhere on the internet. For now, we'll not dive deep into these things. We'll consider that Satoshi Nakamoto was the first person who spoke about Bitcoin for the people. Okay, so now we understood that Bitcoin was introduced by Satoshi Nakamoto, and we cannot touch that Bitcoin, and it is not a physical currency. It is always stored in computers, right? Now, the third important thing that we have to understand here is Bitcoin does not have a controlling authority. For example, if we take about the currency in India, it is controlled by Reserve Bank of India. You guys will be knowing. For example, any new notes have to be printed. 500,000 rupees got banned. What they did was it instructed all the banks that is present in the country to take back all the old 500,000 rupee notes, and it itself started printing new 2,000 rupee notes. So RBI became the controlling authority for all the cash that is present in India, right? But Bitcoin is decentralized. Bitcoin does not have a single controlling authority. For example, Bitcoin Bank of Dash country does not have a single controlling authority. Who decides Bitcoin means? Bitcoin is nothing but a peer-to-peer transaction network. For example, today I will come to you and I will give you one coin and I will tell that this coin has a rate of 10 rupees. Okay, you will not agree to me, but I will bring with me 1,000 people and all of them start telling this coin has a value of 10 rupees. I become that network who has told all these people that this coin has a value of 1,000 rupees. So It is controlled by peers, it is controlled by group of people. So these group of people have decided that the value of Bitcoin is this much. Several other group of people sitting in some other country will decide the value of the Bitcoin is so much. All of these peers, they come to a conclusion among themselves and decide the value of Bitcoin. This is known as decentralized currency. It is not having a single controlling authority. Okay, now you have started getting interest in this Bitcoin thing, I guess. Now you will be having a question, how can I get this Bitcoin? How can I purchase this Bitcoin? Or should I have to go to some place, or should I have to go to some software, or I have to visit some website on the computer where I can give some money and buy some Bitcoins or something? I will tell you. See, Bitcoin is independent and decentralized, as I said. Everyone in this world has the eligibility to purchase Bitcoins and keep it for himself for transactions. Okay. So the eligibility of Bitcoins is not restricted to someone or something. The main important core of this discussion is how you can get Bitcoins is there is something called data mining, which we use in Bitcoins in order to get this. See, I will give you one example. There will be a huge fight that will be going on near your house. What you do is you go to that group of people who are fighting, and you understand the problem, and you think that it was a very complex problem. Both the group of people were fighting in a very chaotic way. What you did was you understood the point of views of both the teams, and you told that okay, A team thinks this and B team is thinking this. Now we'll come to a conclusion. A team will do this, B team will do this. Both of you shake hands, will not fight. Now what happens is you become the problem solver of that whole chaotic discussion. Okay. Now A team and B team, both of the teams got impressed by you. What they did is they give something to you as a gift, or they give something to you as a reward, I can say. You will come and use that reward to buy something. It may be a cash reward or something. Okay. So now you got a reward. Okay. Let's take this example to the digital world. Okay. In digital world, there will be some amount of mathematical problems or mathematical computations that we have to do. After we successfully do this mathematical computations, first thing that you have to remember is these mathematical computations are very complex. It is very complex mathematical problems. It requires a lot of algorithmic work and several hours of computation that we will be talking later. After all these mathematical calculations happen, for every mathematical calculation of a Bitcoin, we'll get something as a reward, which is known as a Bitcoin. For example, if you have solved a complex mathematical calculation for which you have taken around 25-26 hours, you will be getting some 0.000001 Bitcoin. Okay, this is a reward for your computer and the software you have used to solve this mathematical computation. Okay, so this is how you can get the Bitcoin. This whole process is known as Bitcoin mining. Our computer will be solving very complex mathematical problems. Like not a single computer has a power of doing this problem. Several other group of computers, as I said, it is a peer-to-peer transaction, right? Several group of computers join together, they solve this problem together and get something as a reward. Okay, so now I told you, you have to use your computer to solve some mathematical problems for which you will get a reward of as a Bitcoin, right? Now you will start thinking, yeah, I also have a computer in my house. I will also start mining Bitcoins from today. But I will tell you, this process of Bitcoin mining is not easily done on any computer that is available. See, Bitcoin mining or the softwares that is used to solve these mathematical computations or very complex problems in Bitcoin mining requires very high-end computers. It requires very high-end configuration systems which has to run for several number of hours. So basically, on a normal laptop or a normal system, Bitcoin mining cannot be done because the computers will not be that powerful enough to solve that problems. Okay. I'll give you a basic example, guys. You guys would have played PUBG on your smartphones, right? Let's consider you have opened 100 applications in your smartphone. Okay. Can your smartphone hold all that 100 applications at a single instant of time? Like, can you open all 100 apps and do all the multitasking? No, right? Your smartphones automatically hang because all the applications need to be given equal amount of resources by the hardware of your smartphone, and your smartphone hardware, no matter how powerful it is, cannot be that resourceful to give attention to all these applications, right? We consider we open hundreds of applications on our Windows laptop, automatically the system will hang and we have to reboot several number of times. That's why this Bitcoin mining or the process of mining of a Bitcoin will be so powerful that it can't be done on normal computers. It requires very high-end GPUs. Now let's consider you have set up this very high powerful computers also, and now you will think that I can start mining Bitcoin. Here comes the very important part. Even if you have a very high end computer or a very powerful computer, this mining of Bitcoins takes so much amount of power. Means you have your hardware setup, but the power that is consumed in order to solve that mathematical problem on your hardware, on your high end system, is extremely high. If you have to mine some Bitcoins, you will have to solve some complex problems on your computers, right? Once you start solving complex problems on your computers, the computers have to be on for like several number of days. It will be ranging from several hours, like 18 to 24 hours, to 7 days, 15 days, etc. For such amount of duration, the computers should be on, and so much amount of heat is generated, and because of this, the electricity consumption will be high. There are certain situations where the electricity that is consumed by one computer while mining a Bitcoin is more than the electricity consumed by your whole house. That much amount of electricity that computer will be consuming in order to run that mathematical problems and solve it to get just a small amount of Bitcoin. So the return on investment will be dependent on you. Now let's come to our next important thing is, whenever we hear the term Bitcoin, we'll have a term associated with the Bitcoin named blockchain. Okay, what is blockchain? Blockchain means it is just like a ledger. For example, you will go to a government office. You will go to a government office and you will have some electricity bill that you have to pay. You will tell that my home's this month electricity bill is 1000 rupees. Please take this cash. I will give you cash, and you pay my electricity bill. Okay. What that government employee does is he will take the cash and he will put that seal. He will put a signature. One part of the slip he will tear and he will keep it in one file, and one part he will give it to you. Okay. So one transaction you have completed. That part that he tore and he put it inside his one file, no, that is known as ledger. So what is this ledger? The ledger is nothing but the history, or the whole process of transaction has been recorded inside this file. So this ledger was for electricity bill. Same example we'll take and come to the Bitcoin world. For example, you solved a mathematical problem on your computer and you have successfully mined one Bitcoin, and unit of Bitcoin is BTC. So one BTC came to you. Okay, you got one BTC successfully in your Bitcoin wallet. If you go to a bank, you withdraw 2000 rupees, some other person from somewhere else can't come and see how much amount of money you withdrew from your account. But in the Bitcoin transaction, what happens is the whole record, or how much amount of Bitcoin you mined, or this ledger will be transparent. This Bitcoin ledger, known as blockchain, will be transparent and is available for anyone. Okay, the point here is every person who started mining Bitcoin will have his own unique ID or his own unique address, known as BTC address or Bitcoin address. As I told the bill example, you went to pay your electricity bill. Your home electricity meter will be having some number. Okay, AEH1000. Your next home will have a different unique electricity meter address, like AEH1001. Okay, so your address AEH will become your Bitcoin address. Okay, so your Bitcoin address will be unique to someone else's Bitcoin address, and no matter what, in the Bitcoin transactions, the people can see this AEH1000 has mined one Bitcoin, but who is this AEH1000? What is his name? Where is he coming from? Nobody can see. This is how the algorithm has been made. The algorithms are so powerful that you can never backtrack the original identity of which person is this AEH1000. If you go to this blockchain website on the internet, you can see thousands of transaction lines. It will be having some unique identity which is known as Bitcoin address. You can see this person has done this much amount of transaction. This whole unique ID has done this much amount of transaction. But nowhere you can backtrack with the help of that ID the identity of the person. So now it is clear that whatever the process of mining that we did with respect to Bitcoins, the whole process or whole transaction is stored in the internet in something known as blockchain. Okay, now you'll be thinking that, okay, I also understood about blockchain, computers and everything, and what I have to use on my computers in order to mine Bitcoins is a question. In browsing the internet, we generally use Google Chrome or Mozilla Firefox or Edge or some other browser, right? Similarly for Bitcoin mining, so we have thousands of softwares that is present on the internet, but we have to use use only the softwares which are recommended by most of the people on the internet. For example, there is an application for Android smartphones known as ZebPay, which helps in the transaction of the bitcoins. As you guys can see on the screen, these are the list of the softwares that is present for the bitcoins, with the help of which you can solve that computational problems and mine some bitcoins. So these are the softwares or apps that is available for bitcoin mining. So guys, now we understood that these were the different apps or softwares that is present for solving that problems and get the bitcoins. Okay, now let's come to the most important question: what is the rate of Bitcoin? And is it good to invest in bitcoins, or is it having a good future, or etc. First thing about this here is today's rate of Bitcoin is somewhere around 2.5 lakh rupees or 2,45,000 rupees, which I saw in the morning. How dollar to Indian rupee rate will be varying in the market, right? Similarly, the Bitcoin rates will also be varying day by day, or it varies on an hourly basis. Okay, and it updates on the internet for every 24 hours. Who decides this rate? As we told earlier that there is no RBI for bitcoins. So who will decide this rate? The rate of the Bitcoin is decided by the supply and demand. Okay. For example, if today in the world I start one new type of Bitcoin, namely versatile coin. Okay. Since Bitcoin is open source and decentralized and independent, anybody can start their own Bitcoins. It is only that how you can market these Bitcoins and what is the demand of the Bitcoins. That's all. Okay. So now I start my own coin, namely versatile coin. I will go to the market, which is basically the internet again, and I'll tell that this Bitcoin is priced at 1 rupee. Now people will start getting attracted. Oh, this is Bitcoin is available for so much less. I will also start investing on this. What happens is first 2 days only 2 people will come. After this, people will start liking my Bitcoin. Now more number of people are hearing about this versatile coin. A lot of people are getting attracted to this versatile coin because it is easy to mine and a lot of people are getting attention. Since demand is more, rate of the coins will also become more. So initially there were only 2 people. Now there are 20 lakh people who are liking this coin. Since there is a lot of demand in the market, a lot of merchants are started accepting these coins. The rate of my coin also got increased. Right, just how the rate of a product will vary as per the demand and supply, similarly the Bitcoin rates is also decided by the amount of supply and demand. Okay, when Bitcoin was introduced to the world, not many people were knowing what is Bitcoin. Nobody had even interest in Bitcoins. People were thinking, what is Bitcoin? Nobody had even knew about Bitcoin. Okay, gradually till in 2013-14, some amount of people started popping up on the internet that I have invested in Bitcoin, I took a pizza from Bitcoin or something like that. Okay, in 2017 it soared very much high. The market of Bitcoin became so exponentially high. Why? There were a group of people who started discussing about the Bitcoin. There were a group of people who initiated this Bitcoin trend. They started doing the mathematical transactions. Why they started doing this is because since they identified that there is a lot of return on investment in Bitcoin, a lot of people started investing in these Bitcoins. Like a lot of people started solving the problems, let's consider. And since a lot of people started coming to solve these problems, what happened is the rates of the Bitcoins in 2017 December went so high, it reached a peak of 25 lakh rupees per one Bitcoin. That too much demand it had become. Now gradually people lost interest, or because their computers were slow, or the electricity was more, or some Bitcoin hacking happened, or some crypto jacking happened, or something happened, and some amount of people lost interest in the Bitcoin, and that's why rate gradually came down. This is how the rate of Bitcoin is controlled. Okay, now you understood that the rate of the Bitcoin is only because of the supply and demand, and no single person controls it. Okay, the next important thing is we understood everything about Bitcoin. Like I took a new computer, a very powerful computer. I purchased a software from the internet. I started mining Bitcoins. I started solving those complex problems. Complex mathematical computation were solved. I successfully started getting Bitcoins onto my wallet. Now you have this much amount of Bitcoins in your wallet since you solved that mathematical problems and all. Okay, now comes the question: where can I use these Bitcoins? Where can I spend these Bitcoins? Now you will be thinking that now I'll take these Bitcoins, I'll go to my nearest shop and do I have one Bitcoin, give me Surf Excel. You can't do that because there are no merchants in the nearby stores or in nearby shops which accept Bitcoin as transactions. There are so many e-commerce sites, there are so many online buying and selling sites in the United States and also in the several other foreign countries where Bitcoin is accepted as a payment method. Foreign, So many other sites will be present which accepts Bitcoin, like cash on delivery, Bitcoin, credit card, debit card. People will select Bitcoin option. Once they select Bitcoin option, they have to enter that Bitcoin address which I told earlier, that unique address I told. No, you have to enter that Bitcoin address in that transaction payment page. This is how Bitcoin can be, used for the transaction. There are very, very, very limited amount of people or limited amount of merchants in the world who accept this Bitcoin as a mode of transaction. Why? Let's come to the question why. Since Bitcoin is decentralized, or since Bitcoin does not have a controlling authority, what happens is anything can happen. Like if a transaction goes wrong, for example, you're paying on Amazon, suddenly internet went off. In that times, what happens? Amazon's payment will be failed, and in the message will come to your phone. Sorry, the transaction cannot be completed. If any amount has been deducted from your account, it will be refunded in next 24 hours. This message you will get, right? But in Bitcoins, there is nothing like this. If payment has been failed, a reverting of transactions or something will not happen. Payment failed, done. If your Bitcoins that how much you had paid, it will be gone. And now comes the funniest part. You are paying for Amazon, some shoes you have purchased from Amazon, 1000 rupees shoes. Okay, you paid from HDFC card. You paid via HDFC card, 1000 rupee deducted. Order did not place only. Now your account balance has got minus by 1000 rupees. Now you can go to HDFC bank. You can talk to the people like, see my transaction this and this. The shoe has not been ordered, but still 1000 rupees has been deducted. Revert the transaction. Then he will sit and he will see computer. Yes sir, glitch agide. And then he will revert the transaction. But in Bitcoin, you cannot go to some bank and discuss with the bank official or something. As I told, there is no bank for Bitcoins. If a payment transaction failed, our fate, that's all. Your Bitcoin is also gone, you didn't get the order also. So these kind of things are there. It is not just for the customer side. If sometimes order will be placed and amount has not reached to the merchant, these kind of examples also have happened in the world. That's why maximum amount of people like a merchant or a customer is not using Bitcoin as a mode of transaction. It is only done at your own risk. When RBI in 2018 gave a statement to all the Indians who are doing this Bitcoin transaction that do at your own risk, I will not interfere in any of your things. If you lose some lakhs of money in this Bitcoin transaction, you cannot sue the government, because now only I am telling you, I am not controlling Bitcoin. I don't know how complex is this Bitcoin thing. I will not interfere in anything. Whatever you do is at your own risk. RBI told this. So whatever people are doing the transactions regarding Bitcoins is only done by the risk of the individual. Okay, so now we have understood everything about Bitcoins, like how we have to invest, who takes, how we can mine Bitcoins, which computer we need. Everything has been understood. Now comes the important part of this discussion. Should you buy Bitcoins or should you start investing in Bitcoins? This is the important part, guys. For example, see, if you buy one gold biscuit right now, like if you bought one 10-gram gold biscuit today, it is around 35,000 rupees. You go to Bima Jewelers, you will buy one 10-gram gold biscuit. Once you buy the gold biscuit, you will keep it with you, right? Because you know, after 5 years, if I go to Bima Jewelers and if I give that biscuit back, I will easily get 60,000 rupees or 65,000 rupees, because you have trust that gold rates will always be soaring high. You have trust in that investment. Similarly, you invest in some FD. You go to HDFC Bank or SBI, you will keep some 50,000 rupees as FD, because you will be having the trust after 5 years that I will 100% get back at least 75,000 or 1 lakh rupees in return. This is because we have trust on that SBI, because we have trust in gold, right? That's why we make an investment on these kind of things. Money is kept and we take that, we'll invest on mutual funds, we'll invest on gold or something. Bitcoin is so risky that it is known as an economic bubble. Bitcoin has been termed as an economic bubble because no one can estimate when does it soar high and when does it go low. Today, Bitcoin rates is 2.5 lakh rupee for one Bitcoin. Tomorrow, if there is no demand for Bitcoin, what happens is it can go down as low as 100 rupees. So if you buy 2 Bitcoins today thinking that I bought it for 5 lakh, tomorrow I can sell it for 50 lakh. No, it is done at your own risk. As I already said, if you are having a lot of money and if you are like filthy rich and if you are having a lot of money, then you can put your money on Bitcoins. Okay, if your hard earned money is very much important for you, you are not educated about Bitcoin, I suggest you don't invest on Bitcoins. Just stay away from all these type of virtual currencies. Go to SBI, put the money, stay safe, stay happy. That's all. Okay. Many people will be attracted to this thing. Yeah, today is 2.5 lakh. I have this 2.5 lakh with me. I'll go and buy bitcoins. Please don't do that. Why? Because since it is an economic bubble, you don't know when this bubble will burst. Today it was 2.5 lakh. Tomorrow it can come down to 25 rupees. Who knows? Some other coin will become popular. Some other different type of cryptocurrency might become popular. That's why Bitcoin is not safe. As I said earlier, RBI also have told you have to do transaction at your own risk. What I would say is the probability of the returns in the Bitcoin investments are not that high. For example, if the gold probability of returns is more than 50%, like the rates will also come down in gold. I'm not telling that gold is everything, but the probability of the returns that you get on the investment that you are doing right on gold, it will be generally high, like more than 50%. At least 50% you will get back. Like that, you'll be having trust. But in bitcoins, the probability is very less. So you don't play with your money and invest on bitcoins or something. Okay. So guys, I think you guys have understood everything about bitcoins, blockchain, how you can do transaction, how you can mine bitcoins and everything. If you want to know in detail of how we have to mine bitcoins, or you as I was talking, like if you have to know in details of what mathematical problems that we'll be solving, I'll do some other video on some other day. If you want to know, please drop a comment in the comment section below. Please don't forget to give that thumbs up and share this video with your friends. There are a lot of people who are very much less informed about bitcoins, and if you have still not subscribed to our channel, please hit the subscribe button, as we'll be bringing some amazing content on our channel. Thank you for watching, guys.